Welcome to the channel. Yeah, that ugly build right there is still standing and it still works. Moving on, the next amplifier we're covering is the one right next to it. It's the one on the hill. We're going to call this amplifier the one next to it, next to the hill. Uh, Moving on. Uh, Jokes, you know. If you haven't done so already, become a wolf by liking and subscribing. Let's jump right back into the tutorial. As you see, the pre-built structure that stands before you, uh, after current tests, around 6 tests I did before this build, that structure right there held up pretty well for like a non 100% away from keyboardish endurance. But moving on, today we're going to be adding traps to our build. And some of the traps that we're going to be adding are there and there. And I apologize for the pre-built structure. I wanted to make sure that the pathing was correct. And we're going to be adding wooden floors here. I kind of want to add one right there. It's possible to extend it further. I'm not 100% on where the spawn. If they spawn too close to it, it'll just get destroyed anyway. And we're just going to fill this entire area up with wooden floor spikes. If we want to, we could also put a couple freeze traps in the pathing. This is the main pathing right here that the enemies are going to take. The other tiles I'm going to place extra. Those are for the slingers. The slingers like to move around inside the kill area, and they usually roam. They'll usually roam backwards over any of the areas that's not a main pathing direct spot. But I really didn't want to focus 100% on the CC counter with this one. They come up the hill. Usually, if I really wanted to, you could throw ceiling electrics all over the hill that they spawn at, which later on I may end up doing. And yeah, and at the end of this tunnel right here, we definitely want to make sure smashers and or any husky husk is definitely killed by the time they reach here. And since we're not really 100% on CC counter right now, we're going to go ahead and use some CC counter. They should have plenty left over by this time, because we're just, since this is a Stonewood, we're just going to be generally killing them with our traps. And at the end of this tunnel is a high crit, level 144 ceiling drop tire roly-poly trap smackification with crit 2 crit damage and crit rating duration. Duration probably ain't even 100% necessary because my squads have enough duration. But anyhoozle, we're also gonna be adding a lot of extra traps. Any extra tile that's hanging over here, you could add more ceiling electrics to if you feel the need, and later on we'll definitely be feeling the need. Especially on a wave 30, if you're just jumping here and you start an endurance as like a ninja, it's not going to last if you don't have duration in some of your survivors and or the right constructor. Just with that little tiny extra duration, it'll extend your away from keyboarding endurances further, just to get that maximum battle pass XP. And also, I mean, I don't have the problem with damage on this one. It was working without the damage I just added to it. So I'm 100% sure it's going to especially work now. But just to be sure, one of the things that you will definitely have to look out for 100% though is this block off over here. You may want to add more block off to this area over here. The slingers may want to bust through it. So you'll definitely 100% keep an eye on that wall right there. And or I may also need to add, okay, I tested it. They bust through there. Definitely add more structures to that block off than what I have. But regarding that, the structure works. And I really hope y'all enjoyed today's little tutorial. If y'all did, before you go, consider subscribing and becoming a wolf, a liking, if you may, and see ya.